Alright, this is Fly McGuffin, and we're going to be playing some Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is coming out next month, and I just wanted to play something different, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to play this game because I really like it, and it's something casual I can do that isn't something that takes a lot of, I guess, I don't know, time or forethought or anything like that. And it's a game I really like, and I've been doing a lot of, I don't know, stuff lately which you may or may not see, and yeah, let's just go ahead and start a new game. Now, I like to play kind of a balanced character. Let's name ourselves Tom Servo. And, well, this is the PC port, Prepare to Die edition, of course. A lot of people have problems with this, but I don't, and it records just fine. Male. Class, really, you just pick what you like, I guess. They're pretty specific. I guess the starting gear is different. I think the knight starts with a special shield or something like that. Really, though, you can find all this gear in the game. I think the only one that's any different is I guess the shield the knight has. Everything else is either findable or buyable or something like that. The thief starts with the master key, which is one of the gifts we can pick. But I think I'm going to play a cleric because they have a lot of good options early in the game to do, and I like the way they play. Which means I'm probably going to be doing mostly faith stuff, but I like playing balanced things, so I'll probably pick up some other magic and things like that. Even getting sorceries, even though we start with intelligence 8. The first character I ever played to completion was actually a warrior focused on magic, so you can imagine how much extra investment that will have to be, especially since I also had a great shield. So very spread out stats across the board. Not necessarily something I would recommend. So there's, I guess, two good options to pick for the starting gift: Master Key and Black Firebombs. We're gonna go with the Master Key because that's particularly good for us. I don't care about this stuff. I do care about this stuff. We're gonna be this guy because he's smiling. We'll stay Dome Head. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I will see you back after the cutscene, and we'll play some Dark Souls.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bullets peeled apart their stone spears. The witches weaved great firestorms. age of fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark sign. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Okay, so that's basically the biggest plot dump you're gonna get in the game. There are a couple of points later on where they'll say some more stuff, but the plot in this game is kind of subtle and really just kind of shown mostly through item descriptions and things like that. So as you can see, old Tom has seen better days here, or actually got kind of a bluish tinge to our skin. This is because we are what's called hollowed, because we don't have any humanity right now. I'm playing with a controller, because I don't like the keyboard controls of the game. So, let's check out our cellmate here, that whoever was up there dropped through the ceiling. And it's a key to the dungeon, so we can open the door here. So let's take a look at what we've got on us. This is the dark sign. The dark sign is basically the reason we're here. I can read the description here. But you can use it to kill yourself, to go back to a bonfire, but you drop all your souls, which is the penalty for death, and all your humanity that you currently have. And if you are human at the time, you will die, and will not be human anymore. The Black Separation Crystal is an online item. I am online. They will let you do various things with the phantoms, which are basically summoning other players. So we might get into that later. You can equip these items to your hotbar later, which you can switch with the D-pad. The second slot is for items used for forging. We don't have any of those. This is our keys. The master key opens any basic lock. It's not necessarily any lock. There are some specific places where you need specific keys. Most doors are better left unopened. That's not true. There are some doors that cannot be opened, though. And they're basically just scenery. Dungeon cell key is what we picked up. And this is our first introduction of the kind of storytelling that the game gives you through item descriptions. The mysterious knight shoved the corpse down here. There may be no answers, but one must still forge ahead. Exactly. We start as a cleric with the Heal Miracle, which we currently cannot use because we can't channel it. We don't have a thing to channel it, and it's a healing spell. Pretty good. There are better ones. Here we start with a straight sword hilt, which is barely better than being unarmed, as it describes here. We just kind of picked it up. This is ammunition. In our armor, we start with the holy robes. So, dissatisfied with the church, must test their faith by going on a spiritual journey. And ritual self-purification of the Way of the White. Way of the White is our covenant, which is basically our religion. And clerics and knights start in this. So, it's just gloves. Anything cleric specific, I guess. Although those are the cleric starts with them. So these are basically telling us why the cleric is doing their thing. I guess. I don't know. Plus we're undead. I guess we have to. We don't have a choice. Now, the other things in the menu, you can change your equipment, and you can equip items up here. You can equip 5 items at a time. 2 types of ammunition. We can switch when you have a ranged weapon equipped. A helmet, a chest piece, hands and legs. 2 rings, 2 weapons, and 2, well, a shield or another item in your other hand. Primarily, you're going to be using a shield and a weapon, or a shield and some kind of magical implement. I know we have some other tenants in here, but we can't open the doors. Looks like that guy is praying or something. These messages on the floor are mostly going to be a tutorial in here. You can tell that they're developer placed because the little knight there, which looks like the knight that dropped our cellmate in, and it just basically teaches you how to play the game. I'm going to be ignoring them because I'm playing it for you. There's another guy in there. And over here, we have a special friend who's out of the cell, and he just is kind of moping here. So, you can lock on with the right stick, and you can kill them. Strong attacks are the buttons, and weak attack, or strong attacks are the trigger, excuse me, and the weak attacks are the button for whatever things. If you have a shield, it'll block. Well, it'll always block if it's your left hand, and you have a shield. And that is the big guy who's kind of walking around. Back to him later. If we don't have anything in our other hand, we can attack with it. And you can do things like, if you push forward while attacking, while doing a weak attack, you will kick if you push them at the same time. Which is useful for knocking shields aside and stunning the enemies and things like that. You can also use the left trigger to parry attacks. And you'll notice at the bottom that we are gaining what are called souls, which are the combination of currency and experience in the game. At the top of the screen you'll see our health bar, which is red, and our stamina bar, which is green. And next to that is our counter for our humanity, which will show various numbers based on how many we have. If that is bright, we are human. See something moving through that hole in the church there. I'm sure it's nothing. So here we have a bonfire. These are basically checkpoints. And you can use them for leveling up or changing your inventory or things like that. But we can't do that right now. We could attune our magic, because since we have a spell, but other than that, we can't really do anything. We can't even use the spell, and we don't have any other ones, so I guess in theory we could unequip it. Now this is a door that cannot be opened from this side. This game has a lot of interconnected areas, and this is an example of that. A shortcut you can get to get here to from later in the level. So the only option we have is to go through here. Maybe we can get a better look at that thing. Oh! Look. It's some kind of big guy. Looks like the guy down there if you look closely at him. Let's see if we can get to that door before he gets us. Nope. And if we try to go open the door, it's locked. So we can attack him. But we don't deal very much damage to him. What you're supposed to do, if you look at that yellow or that orange thing, so we're supposed to run away. And if we try to go out that door over there, it's locked. So we can't come back the way we came. Conveniently enough, there's a bonfire here. Now resting at bonfires will respawn the enemies. So if we went back to that tunnel we started in, all those guys would be back. I don't think there's any real reason to do that. Oh, something of note that we saw earlier is that if you're in water that's too deep, it will make you go slower. And we're being shot at. The B button is how you run around, and you can also use it for dodging and jumping and things like that. So, I'm going to pick up a shield here for blocking those attacks. So I'll equip that in our left hand, so now we can block. If you have it in your right hand, you just attack with it. And there are shields that have pretty good attack stats, but not this one. This is actually a pretty crappy shield. That guy ran away. Let's examine this corpse. And on there we have a mace, which is a pretty good weapon. Standard weapon for clerics. Pretty slow, but extremely powerful. Oops, I unequipped it. 91 physical damage. Doesn't have any other properties, but it also has a B scaling for strength, which is quite good. Let's look at the shield. Symbol of a double-headed eagle painted yellow. So it's like, I don't know, the Holy Roman Empire or something. So this is a wood shield. It's actually a standard shield, which means that you can parry with it. And it blocks pretty well. This guy's coming back down. So, now that we have a mace, we can attack with it. That right there was backstabbing. I didn't mean to do that. I just kind of walked behind him so he didn't shoot me. If you get up behind an enemy and do a light attack while not blocking, you will sometimes backstab the enemies if you're in the right place. So this is a fog door. It's the white light doors, whatever they're called. And if you go through them, it will clear. These are basically, I guess, progress points of the level. They don't respawn if you die or anything like that. And boss doors will be delineated by these as well, so... but the boss doors won't go away. It basically prevents you from leaving the boss area until you fight it. So, if you die, you'll drop all your souls in humanity, and you'll have to come back into the boss fight to get them. Making bosses one of the more risky things. Here we have a stairwell with one of those things. Those indicate items, by the way, on corpses. We can't get up there because the stairs are broken. There's not really any way around. So, this game encourages exploration. There will be a lot of items hidden around here and there. And here we can see we are above the area we were in before with the bonfire and the door over there. And you can see that there's a fog door over there. Through this kind of door here that we can't get into, we can see a familiar face over there. Looks like the guy who dropped our friend into our cell. So we have a stairway up and a stairway down. And remember what I said before about shortcuts? Well, now we can open the door from this side and go out to the bonfire, which will get our health back that we lost from getting shot in the face by that guy. Can't go in here because it's locked by some contraption. That basically means you have to do something to open the door. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a contraption. Sometimes you have to kill enemies or something like that. I don't know. So, let's try going up the stairs because it doesn't look like there's anywhere else to go. At the top of the stairs there, you may have missed that, but there was a giant iron ball rolling down at us from up there. And kind of smashed through the wall. And there's actually somebody up here who did that. So, if you hit the left trigger with a shield while your enemy is attacking, if you time it right, you will do that, which is parrying. And then when you parry something, you can use the light attack to riposte them, which basically deals the same amount of damage as a backstab. It's very good. And they're basically considered the same type of attacks for specific effects. So, let's visit our friend here.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Could say no. There's no real reason to.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
So, here we get an Estus flask, which is basically the healing potions of the game. Unlike in Demon Souls, you can't collect, like, grass or anything to heal. This is your only source of healing.
Oh, and this.
Aside from miracles.
Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
So, he seems resigned to his fate. We could kill him. You can kill practically all of the NPCs in the game. There really isn't any reason to, especially because if you leave the room, you hear that sound? That indicates that somebody has died. And we actually get the souls that we would get for killing him. You might get 200 for killing him yourself, but that's hardly worth messing around with. So we got the key to this room up here. The Estus flasks are basically healing potions, as I said. Let's take a look at them in our thing. Okay, so they're green when they're empty, but when they're filled with junk, they are the bright yellow. Link to Fire Keepers. From the Keeper's Soul. Okay. So, something about Fire Keepers, but they will heal you a proportion of your health based on how good the Estus Flask is, which we'll talk about later. And when you rest at a bonfire, they will replenish. Right now we have 5. We also have the Heal spell, which we can use to further supplement our healing. But most people don't start with that. Well, nobody else starts with that with a cleric. So now we got the door to this thing. So let's read the key. Since, oops. It's a giant undead prison. That's true. Well, I don't really know what it means by this. Well, of course we don't really know. Assumingly we're pretty far away from everything else. If we go out here, we'll see what that means, I guess. So here it tells us, yeah, about that bonfire thing. But here we have an item here, but you can see some guys coming towards us. You can see just how strong the heavy attack is on that. Most of the other weapons won't kill these guys in one hit. But it is dependent on your other stats. See, I didn't quite backstab him there, because I wasn't in the right spot. So here we get a canvas talisman, which is the starting thing for... Well, actually, let's equip it in our right hand. For clerics. And it's actually used for channeling miracles. But this is actually an upgraded version of it. It's not the best one we could use right now. It's not the best one we could use right now, but it's the best one we can have at the moment. And it requires 14 faith, which is what we start with. The reason it's better is because it has an A scaling for the parameter bonus, which affects its magic adjustment, which makes whatever miracles we cast with it better. So, doesn't really tell us a whole lot. The canvas talisman is specific for clerics, I guess. Oh, I didn't equip it. So, you can use the D-pad to switch your weapons. And there is a ghost, which is another player online. Left on the D-pad will switch your left hand. Right on the D-pad will switch your right hand. Up on the D-pad will switch your spells, and down on the D-pad will switch your items. Right now we only have one item. We have one shield, but if we switch to our canvas talisman, we can do that. There you go. These guys can drop items, but very rarely, and they only drop whatever thing they have equipped. So here we have an upgraded guy. This is an undead soldier, who, in this room, you're supposed to learn how to parry from fighting him. The tutorial on the floor will... Oh, and we did get an item from him. A hollow soldier armor. Cool. We'll take a look at that in a second. This will tell you how to parry and riposte. These guys are slightly better weapons and armor, and they're slightly smarter with what they do. That guy has a long sword. So, let's take a look at that armor. So, to compare things, you can toggle the display here, and you can see that it gives you the stats, physical defense, and the various types of physical attacks. As you can see, the Holy Robe is better at strike, but still, you know, has other things, but also has magic defense, fire defense, lightning defense. And there's at the top there's on the second column there's poise, which is basically a stat that determines how easily you are staggered when you are hit with an attack. Actually hit with it, not when you block with it. And then below that you have bleed, poison, and curse resist, which are various status effects. There's another there's another status effect related to poison resist as well. The durability is how much damage it can take before the item is destroyed, which means you need to repair it, and how much it weighs, which affects how fast you can move and things like that. The hollow soldier armor is significantly better for most of the physical defenses, indicated by the fact that it is blue in those stats, and also has poise. But as you can see, it weighs almost twice as much, and has less magic and lightning defense. It also looks kind of stupid. It's all rusty and stuff. We can still move around pretty well with it, but we're a bit slower. Plus, I like the look of the Holy Robe for now. And as you can see, we're a little bit faster. The weight thing is related to your endurance, which is a very good stat. So, if we go through here, we'll be back in that other room. You can actually see through the window here that it's the room that we were in where that guy jumped down on us. He actually jumped down from up above us. I can't pan the camera that high, so let's go through here. Okay, so he's right down there. If you jump and then attack, you can do a downward attack, which is used for, well, you just deal more damage that way. And you can press the Y button to equip your weapon in two hands, which is gives you a strength bonus. Oops, got hit by him. Now locking onto this guy. Oh. Well, there we go. I was just about to say locking onto that guy is not necessarily very helpful. So now we're all the way back out here, but we just go straight to there. Actually, dying in this game can sometimes help you because you get a little bit more souls. These guys aren't worth a particularly large amount. So, I guess you don't necessarily get much advantage from doing that. As you can see, with a wide enough attack, you can actually hit multiple enemies. Something else to note is that if you parry or backstab somebody, you will get a slight experience bonus. Or soul bonus. It's about 20%, I think. You can also get that in other ways, but I'm not really sure what the mechanics behind them are. So when you use a weapon in two hands, you get a strength bonus that's like 1.5 times your strength. And because this is a strength-based weapon, it's quite good. So let's unlock him and then go get our souls. A retrieval is basically... those fucking pots, man. Twice in a row. Messed me up. Okay. So there we use an Estus Flask. Now the heal miracle is slightly slower, so let's not bother with that. There I blocked the attack, but as you can see, it actually sent me flying when I did that. I'm trying to show off his moves here, which is, I guess, what got me killed last time. He does that little flying thing. He does this big sweep. He does that kind of downward attack. And that flying attack has this kind of area around him. He also kind of sweep behind him. And you basically want to stay behind him as much as possible, and not turn around when you're trying to block his attacks. Now, for big enemies like this, a lot of times it's better to try to dodge away than block the attacks, but if you get hit while you're dodging, you take more damage. So I think that's pretty much... Oh, there we go. That's the other thing I wanted him to do. Now, taking him head on like this is not a good plan. That attack deals a lot of damage. Now, a lot of times they'll do like combo attacks where they'll hit and then do one immediately after that. And you have to watch out for that with the bigger enemies. So this guy's not particularly hard if you know his moves and don't back yourself into some pots. So there we go. And since we picked up our souls again, we didn't lose anything. And we get the big Pilgrim's Key. When you beat a boss, you'll get a victory achieved. Usually gets humanity for it. And sometimes you'll get an item called a Homeward Bone. Now, when we kill the boss, it opens this door again. Which means we can go back to this bonfire to heal up and replenish our Estus Flasks. Let's demonstrate that. As you can see down, our Estus Flasks at the bottom are backed up to 5. And just because, let's demonstrate the difference between the heal spell and the Estus Flask here. So that is how fast an Estus Flask is. Oh, and we can see a ghost fighting the boss we just fought. We don't really know his fate there. If we use the miracle here, it takes significantly longer. Good to use outside of battle, and it's good to use for, you know, conserving your Estus Flasks. So this guy has apparently achieved what we have just achieved. Just look at that key we picked up. Opens the inner door of the Asylum. Chosen undead knows not what the pilgrimage has in store. That is us, the chosen undead, which is what some people refer to us as. So now we can get out of the Asylum, but there's just a kind of a cliff out here. The message just tells us to go straight ahead. Not necessarily what we want to be doing. As you can see, there's some graves out here. I don't know why you'd be burying someone on the edge of a cliff, but maybe the cliff wasn't here before. It'd be like collapsed. Up here at the top, we can see the tip of the cliff, and that's where we're supposed to go. But if you explore areas, oftentimes you'll find some items hiding around. Over here, pillage a corpse and get a soul of a lost undead, which goes to an item slot. So I just want to unequip that. We also picked up a humanity, which tiny black sprite. I don't know whether that. So you can get it to gain a humanity, which will put one in your humanity pool, and it'll heal you pretty much to full. I don't know if there's some point which it won't heal you to full, but yeah. We'll kind of figure out the nature of these later. But that's like DLC stuff. The Soul of a Lost Undead is basically a way of getting souls that can't be lost when you're dead, when you die. You just keep them around and you can use them as kind of a battery. So these are the lowest form. I believe they give you 200 souls, which is about 10%. Well, %10% of what we have. Less than that. But we will be getting more. Over here, we can see there's a bird nest. If we
You, give me warm, give me soft.
If we approach it, then some disembodied voice that sounds like a parrot will talk to us. We can actually do something with this. And we do have an item we can use for this, but I'll be coming back to this later. This is a special, I guess, character, even though you never see the character in the game, that will trade items for stuff that is warm and soft. The humanity we could trade for something, but the item they give for that is not particularly useful. So there's nothing else around here, and the only thing else we can do, aside from going around killing those, you know, zombie guys, is walk up here. Or kill ourselves, I suppose.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
So now we are in Lordran. It's not really clear to me whether... Yeah, we can level up at the bonfire. It's not really clear to me whether the Undead Asylum is in Lordran or not. I suppose it's technically not. Lordran is kind of this big city, or I guess city-state, and the various areas or various districts of that city. You'll mostly be within the walls you see there. And if you look off the edge over here, you can see that the walls extend quite a bit further. So I guess we're just within this big city. This is Firelink Shrine, and we can actually level up for the first time at this bonfire. We can also do what's called kindling, which basically increases the amount of Estus flasks by 5. Right now we can kindle a bonfire to 10, but this is a special bonfire, which means it already starts at 10. We can also reverse our hollowing if we have any humanity up on our counter. We could use our humanity we have equipped, but we'll probably just get invaded and die and not be able to use anything with that, so I'm not going to do that.